Our motorways and urban road systems are overcrowded. Traffic jams and stop-and-go traffic are a terrible strain on both people and the environment. CO2 has become today's real buzzword. But streets only show one part of the problem. Our whole traffic system is facing a crisis. Overall concepts are lacking. The advantages of the various means of transport are not evident enough. Trains and buses are, often enough, not a pleasant alternative. A real-life example in Berlin. Anna and her mother travel 3.5 kilometers to Anna's school. The trip takes 35 minutes by bus because they have to transfer. If the weather's good, they can take a bicycle, 25 minutes. By car, the same journey takes only 6 minutes, a fraction of the time. We can't do without cars. If the production crew had used bicycles to make this video film, it wouldn't be finished yet. But we can learn from the bicycle and help our environment. Volkswagen's research department has taken one inherent advantage of the bicycle and developed it. Energy is used only when it's needed. Whenever a cyclist can go ahead without power, he or she can coast. If this concept is transferred to the car, it means the engine is running only when it's absolutely necessary. After 15 years of research and development, this proven bicycle principle is now going into production, the Gulf Ecomatic with its computer-controlled use of momentum. Let's have a first look at the sophisticated Eco technology. The Ecomatic looks like a normal Golf. The clutch pedal is missing. Gear changes are semi-automatic. Otherwise everything looks normal, except for 3 new indicator lights on the dashboard that symbolize the research work done on the Ecomatic since 1978. Herbert Schuster, Volkswagen's Marketing Chairman for Development.
Aus 2 Gründen gehen wir eigentlich erst heute damit in Serie. Zum einen war uns das System seinerzeit.
We have 2 reasons for starting serial production now. On the one hand, the electronics and the system needed to be developed and refined. On the other hand, environmental awareness was not what it is today. High fuel prices also add to the system's economic impact.
Isn't the technology behind Gulf Ecomatic too complicated for an average motorist to understand?
The consumer doesn't notice the complicated technology. The system is very easy to use. The car is even easier to drive than a vehicle with standard manual transmission.
Let's have a test drive. Turn the ignition key, put the car in first gear without using the clutch. Press the accelerator and the tried and tested 1.9-liter diesel engine with its catalytic converter responds as expected. You'll soon notice the purpose of the middle indicator light. It lets you know the best time to change gears. Now simply take your foot off the accelerator and the engine stops. You're gliding. Almost unbelievable. On an average city trip, you can cover up to 60% without using the engine. A terrific feeling. Drive an Ecomatic and you'll be gliding effortlessly through the traffic. Press the accelerator only when you have to and the engine will start. No petrol consumption, no CO2. Even on the highway, there are enough occasions where the Ecomatic will be able to demonstrate its superiority as a fuel saver. But the Gulf Ecomatic really comes into its own in city traffic, up to 1/3 less pollution. Stop and go and traffic lights even improve the fuel economy figures and the environmental quality. The engine simply switches off. You don't have to turn the ignition key. When it's time to move ahead, simply press the accelerator. Your hand never leaves the steering wheel, and you have the driving power back at your disposal. But here again, a chance to coast. Foot off the accelerator, and all you hear is the sound of your tires on the road. The Ecomatic on the rolling road. Official figures don't really show up its advantages. The tests are not realistic enough. The engine switches off. Fuel consumption and emissions go down to zero. But in the real world, the car's ecological advantages are without a doubt. The new automatic start-stop system raises some questions. What happens to lighting and other electrical systems when the engine switches on and off during the journey? How can the heating system operate without a hitch on a cold winter day? What about power steering, power brakes, and what about wear and tear? Let's have a look at the engine. Volkswagen engineers have solved many problems to make the Ecomatic system foolproof, rugged, and reliable down to the last detail. A high-output alternator and battery, assisted by a small support battery, eliminate voltage fluctuations during starter motor operation. The oil reservoir for the power steering system. It has been fully redesigned and has its own electric pump, so that it is independent from the engine. An electric water pump ensures uninterrupted heating on cold days. Another electric vacuum pump operates the transmission and the power brakes. It switches on automatically as soon as the vacuum in the container drops below a certain level. The clutch and the transmission are completely normal, but the DigiSwing electronic control makes it capable of an astonishing performance. An example, the electronic impulse from the gear lever has no effect as long as the driver's hand is on the lever. The transmission goes out of gear only when the accelerator pedal signals that the engine is coasting. In addition to all its ecological features, the Ecomatic also has, of course, the normal features of a Golf. It's just as safe, just as comfortable, and just as nicely finished as the normal Golf. Back to our test drive. The Ecomatic is logical and easy to drive. The electronic systems operate in a realistic way. One example. At walking speed, or when the car stops, the engine idles for 5 seconds before switching off. This ensures power if you still need it, for instance while reversing. In reverse gear, the Ecomatic automatically stays switched off, as well as when driving in first gear and until the engine has reached running temperature. The right-hand indicator light stays on until the system is ready to go. The driver can also switch the Ecomatic off at a simple push of a button. For instance, when driving down a steep hill, to use the engine as a brake. The left-hand indicator light goes on as a reminder. Push the button again to reactivate the automatic start-stop system. The middle light blinks to remind the driver to shift down when this is necessary. The Ecomatic's ecological technology is geared towards problem-free day-to-day use. It's the first truly practical, environmentally friendly car for normal users. Professor Ulrich Seifert, member of the Volkswagen Board of Directors in charge of research and development.
As a major car and truck manufacturer, Volkswagen is highly customer-oriented. That means that we aim at fulfilling our customers' wishes for mobility, but with a high degree of vehicle safety, low fuel consumption, low emission figures. This makes the Golf Ecomatic a user-friendly concept, which saves on fuel and protects the environment.
A tailor-made concept for today's traffic situation, matured through years of careful research and well thought out, right down to the smallest detail. The only thing that could perhaps be improved would be a kind of praise-o-matic for the car's environmental qualities. But really, if you drive an Ecomatic, you don't need a medal. You know you're doing the right thing.